Hello, I will give a 5-minute presentation about the group assignment I did with 4 other students for the course Introduction to Finance and Actuarial Sciences. First I will give a short introduction about the assignment, then I will talk about the plan of approach that we took, and finally I will talk about the results and the conclusion of our assignment. Our assignment was about the optimal portfolio. How do you optimize your portfolio? In other words, in what stocks should you invest to maximize your return while on the other hand minimizing your risk? In order to give an answer to a question like that, we obviously need a risk measure. We decided to use the beta coefficient as a risk measure for this assignment. However, as we got along with the assignment, we found out that the beta coefficient might not be the ideal risk measure for a problem like this, so we decided to use the Sharpe index as a benchmark as well. The beta coefficient measures the systematic risk of a stock. However, it does not capture the idiosyncratic risk of a stock, which ended up causing problems for us in this particular assignment. The Sharpe index, on the other hand, measures your expected return in excess of the risk-free rate relative to the volatility of a stock. Then I will talk now about the plan of approach. First we need to gather data. We did this using DataStream. We decided to use data over the last 4 years of stocks from the AEX index. When we found this data, we imported it in Excel, where we could easily compute the mean return, the beta coefficient, and the Sharpe index, Sharpe indices of all the stocks. We then chose 4 stocks as our risky assets for the portfolio, which then could be combined with a risk-free asset, depending on your own personal risk aversion parameter, your gamma. I will now go on and talk about the results of our assignment. When we imported our data in Excel and we found all the statistics that we needed, we chose 4 stocks as our risky assets. We chose Ahold, DSM, Elsevier, and ING. The first 3 stocks we chose because they had the highest Sharpe indices, and ING we chose because we also wanted a stock in our assignment that captures the financial market. For the risk-free asset, we chose a Dutch government bond with a maturity of 2 years. This type of bond has an interest rate of 0.21%. The ideal portfolio we then found, combining the 4 risky assets, was indeed a combination of the assets rather than one single stock. The ideal portfolio we found consisted of 65% Elsevier, 20% Ahold, and 15% DSM. This particular portfolio has a Sharpe index of 1.347. This means that for every percent point of volatility, you are expected to get an extra 1.347 percent point of return. We also solved this problem graphically. In the mean return volatility graph, we showed that this particular portfolio is more to the upper left corner than any of the single stocks by itself, which shows that this is the ideal portfolio. Anyone can then invest in this portfolio or in the risk-free asset or in the combination of these two, depending on your own personal gamma. We can conclude that for a problem like this, the optimal portfolio, it is not ideal to use the beta coefficient as a risk measure because it only captures the systematic risk of a stock. It does not capture the full risk of a stock. We prefer to use the Sharpe index because this index does capture the full risk of a stock. Thank you for listening.